Welcome, everybody, to the Single and Stiletto Show. I'm Suzanne Oshima, and I'm a matchmaker and dating coach at Dream Bachelor and Bachelorette, and I'm also the founder of Single and Stilettos. Today, we have on our show Marni Kinrys. She's a wing girl and founder of winggirlmethod.com, and I'm so excited to have her here today, ladies, because today she is giving you the true secrets about men. You're probably wondering, well, how does she know? Well, she's worked with men for over a decade, so trust me, she knows. Okay, so Marni, before we jump into this topic, I would love for you to tell our audience how you became an awesome wing girl for men.
Well, I started my business the way that everybody starts their business. They do it at a rabbi's house. That's where most businesses start. No, I was at a singles mixer at a rabbi's house, and men and women were not talking to each other. They were literally like separated like a junior high school dance. So I started grabbing men and pulling them towards women and starting a conversation and helping facilitate the conversation. And by the end of the night, everybody was mixing and having fun. And I felt really good about myself. So I went home and I posted an ad on Craigslist as a joke. Honestly, it was like 1:30 in the morning and I was a little bit tipsy. And I said, what better way to attract bees than with honey? Sit back and relax. I'll be your wing girl. And I had 75 plus guys respond to me by the next morning. So I knew there was something interesting there. So I started my business, and it's transformed a lot over the past decade. And it's now become the wing girl method.
And trust me, ladies, this is huge. She really knows what she's doing. She works with a ton of men. So, Marni, I know because you work with a ton of men that you know some secrets about men and things that they would never tell women. So, can you tell us some of those secrets that women need to know to help them be more successful in dating?
Yeah, well, the biggest secret that I know about men, or that I've learned about men, is they're just as scared and insecure as you. And they have tons of fear of rejection. So every single day that you're walking down the street or in your office or at the grocery store, there are tons of unbelievable, amazing men who are convincing themselves why they should not approach you, because it keeps them more safe. They don't have to get rejected. They don't have to put themselves out there, and they don't have to fail, because that's the worst thing in the world for a man, a huge bruise to their ego. So that's the biggest secret that I know about men, that they're just like us. They're just as scared.
I know. And that's funny because I actually put that tip in my free ebook, because women don't realize that men are really afraid of rejection. And
yeah,
Marni, I want you to tell, because like I said, she works with men across the board, but I think that a lot of women think that even the most confident guy, he's not afraid of rejection. Can you tell our audience the truth?
Yeah, that's not true. even the most confident men. Okay, it's interesting. So I get tons of guys who will write this to me. There are so many girls that I have no problems talking to, no problems approaching, blah, 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 blah. But these are the girls that I'm not interested in. As soon as I'm attracted to a woman, I become a blubbering fool. I can't think of a single thing to say. My heart starts racing. So to speak to your question, absolutely. A man who is so confident in every area of his life, as soon as there is a woman he's super attracted to, he can become a complete fool, a complete idiot. He can become a totally different version of himself. So yeah, that is not a true statement before. So
yeah, I needed the ladies to hear that from you. And I love how you put that he can talk to any girl that he's not attracted to, but when it comes to the girl that he's attracted to, he becomes like, oh my God. So
yeah, because he's thinking too much into the future. Same thing that women do, but a lot of men, project huge pictures onto women. So for example, a lot of the guys that I work with have trouble approaching women because as women, we're very lucky that we don't have to deal with this, but men have to approach us. They have to approach us at a bar, approach us on the street. These are very scary things to do, to go up to a complete stranger and try and figure out a way that you can connect in a short amount of time without her thinking, oh my God, he's trying to sell me something, potentially attack me. All of these negative thoughts that we have on our end. Like, men are battling against that on a daily basis. So for the men that I work with who have a lot of approach anxiety, and for men, if in their mind, if they're not able to approach a woman and create attraction, they're like failures as men, just to let you know that. I ask them, well, what are you thinking that you want from this woman before you approach her? When you see her, what do you think? And so they'll say, okay, well, when I see her, I think I'm going to approach her. I'm going to talk to her. I'm going to make her laugh. I'm going to ask her out on a date. I'm going to, and then have her babies. Like all of these things that they're thinking about, and they haven't even spoken to this woman yet. So they put a lot of pressure on themselves because when they see a woman that they're attracted to, they've already decided I'm attracted to her and I want to ask her out.
Right.
They don't need much more to go by than I like how she looks and she smiles. She seems like I would like to take her on a date. Women are different because they're being approached by men. So they have to go through a few more steps before they decide whether or not this person is not worthy of their time, but they want to spend more time with them, like on a date or have sex with them, whatever.
Right.
So yeah, a lot of guys put this immense amount of pressure on themselves. And I help men drill those intentions down so that they get to a place where they're like, oh, there's a cute girl. I'm going to approach her and talk to her without thinking all of those other things. But yeah, men are freaked out, completely freaked out when approaching you in the middle of nowhere because it's a scary thing to do.
So can you tell the ladies if they were to see a man, and I hear this all the time, is they'll say, I saw this guy, he was attractive, he was looking at me, but he just wouldn't approach. So what can a woman do to help him get over that and approach her so that he feels comfortable and she gets approached and she doesn't go home thinking, well, I don't know why he didn't approach?
Right. Or like, I missed my chance. Well, you can try doing a cute wave, or you can even like wave the guy over to you to come talk to you. Mm-hmm. Or you could in some way find a way to walk beside him so that you're in his vicinity. And then you can say, hi, I was sitting over there. I was waiting for you to come approach me. My name is, and you don't have to be like, okay, I was over there and I saw you looking at me. And
how come you didn't approach me?
Why didn't you approach me? Like, because that's the worst thing. First of all, that's not attractive to guys. Yeah, and it's not a really good way to start off your interaction. But you can still be feminine in your approaches and subtle, and still feel like you're in that feminine space and he's in that masculine space. And just say, hi, like I wanted to introduce myself, or even just ask a question like, I see you standing by yourself. Are you having a really good time? Just starting the conversation will really, really help that guy calm his nerves and then calm down those thoughts in his head that might be saying, yeah, she doesn't want me to approach her. Or she hasn't given me a clear 100% indicator that she wants me to approach her. Because a lot of guys do not understand our signals.
And I don't think women give off enough signals, because I'll ask women,
right.
Did you, give them the look? And did you smile? Right. And they're like, well, no, because they feel like a lot of women will say they don't want to feel rejected if he doesn't approach. Him. Yeah. So what I always tell women is the other thing that you can do if you're really shy is you can, like Marnie said, ask a question, or you can compliment him on something that has nothing to do with his looks. Like if he has a nice tie, he has nice shoes. I've done this before and it works really, really well. Because all you're trying to do is open up the door. That's all you want to do. So.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you this one story, and it may be like one step further than just being approached, but it's about my sister-in-law when she was newly single, and she had met this guy through her friends, and they had spoken to each other before, but in a social setting, and then he asked her to go on a date afterwards. They went on a date, and she called me from the bathroom, and she was like, Marnie, I don't understand. When we were in a group, he was asking me lots of questions. He was really engaging. But now I'm sitting across the table from him and he just keeps talking about himself. And he won't ask me any questions. And I said to her, he's probably nervous, because a lot of guys hear that if there's a lull in the conversation, that, the date's over. Like they've screwed everything up. So they put a lot of pressure on themselves to entertain. And sometimes because they're thinking so much about what they have to do, they forget to actually calm down and connect. And it means that they like you and they're interested in you. So it's a good thing. So don't worry about that. But go back to the table, put your hand on his hand or on his wrist, whatever it is, some sort of slight touch that shows him that you're in this date as well and that you're enjoying yourself. And I'm like, I guarantee he'll calm down and he'll start to ask you more questions and he'll stop talking about himself so much. And then I'd say half an hour later, she texts me saying, Marnie, your voodoo magic worked. Absolutely amazing. we had a make out at the end of the date, and they dated each other for a couple of weeks, didn't go anywhere afterwards. But she was like, he calmed down. She could see it on his face. He sat back, he relaxed, he talked to her, she talked to him, he asked questions. It was more of a date because there wasn't as much pressure put on him.
Okay, and that's a really good tip to give women when that happens. But I'm going to give you an opposite thing of what can happen.
Yeah.
Is what happens if the guy's not saying anything and she feels like she's carrying the whole conversation, and it's like, oh my God. And I've seen this happen with men, is they're, like you said, they're so nervous on the date that they're scared to say the wrong thing, or they feel the pressure to come up with conversation topics, and they're just like, they almost freeze, and so they don't say anything, and then she feels like, great, this date sucks. But like you said, the guy's just nervous. What should a woman do?
Well, the thing is that she's already doing everything that she can do. So if she's asking questions, if she is leading the conversation, at the end of the day, like, that simple human interactions, that falls on his shoulders. If he doesn't know how to engage further, that's different than feeling pressure and being nervous. Mm-hmm. That's really not having any social etiquette. So I would say that that's a mismatch. Like, if you're doing that much work and you're not getting that guy to crack a little bit, to be engaging, to see if there actually is a connection there, or he's not asking you the questions back, then yes, send him to my website. I'll help him. So then when you go on a date with him the next time, he can learn how to have more conversation. But I would say there's like a certain amount of helping a guy out on a date and dominating and taking control of the date. I'm sure that later on down the road, he'll find somebody that's more in line for what he's looking for. But I would say if you're in that situation and you can't get anything out of this guy, that's his loss, not your loss. I say move on to the next guy at that point.
Okay. So tell us another big secret about men that women just don't know that will help them in dating.
A lot of men do not know how to read women's subtle signals, which we talked about a little bit. But I wanted to say that one of the most popular articles on my blog are the 13 signs she's flirting. And actually, one of the most popular topics for men are, what does it mean when she does X, Y, and Z? They don't know when women are flirting. They don't know when they're supposed to go in for the kiss, or when a woman is saying, kiss me. They don't know when to ask for a date. Anyway, so all of these subtle things that we do to show a man that he should do X, Y, and Z, exactly how you were saying before, those signs are too subtle for men to pick up on, because now the pressure for them of getting it wrong is so much higher than it was before. They're even more scared to take a chance on possibly misreading a sign. And I'm doing my best to help men not be afraid of those things. And I'm helping the men that I work with. But there's still a lot of men out there who don't know about me and who aren't working with me, who are too afraid to take that risk and put themselves out there for a 50% chance. So what I would say to women, and we touched on this a little bit before, is if you are interested, be more obvious about it. It's not going to turn a man off if you say, I've always really wanted to go to this restaurant. We should go sometime. Something that's subtle. It's not saying to him, oh, I want to ask you on a date, what's your phone number, where it's very aggressive. It's said in a more subtle, still feminine way, where you can still put yourself in the female position and he can put himself in the masculine position. But I think a lot of opportunities are missed out because the woman doesn't say anything. She doesn't show anything by smiling, by engaging in conversation, by asking questions, giving the compliments like you had said. And because of that, both people can walk away thinking, oh, I wish he had asked me out and I wish I had asked her out. So if he's not doing it, then you do it for him. And you can do it subtly or you can do it very directly if you want.
Well, and I like that basically what I heard you say before in the example that you gave is it's just dropping the bait. If you drop the bait, he's going to pick it up. but you got to
Yeah.
give them something, because if you give them nothing and just expect them to ask you out or just expect them to kiss you, that's terrifying for a guy. Because what I do with my clients is I always try to make them look at things in reverse. So ladies, what if it was your job to ask a guy out on a date, but he was giving you no indication of whether or not he's interested or whether or not he's going to say yes? That would make it really scary, right? Or what if you were out on a date and you really wanted
Right.
to kiss a guy, but he was giving you nothing? So give the guy some help. Drop the bait, drop the signals. And if you think that one signal's enough, you're wrong, because men don't pick up on a lot of things. Right, Marnie?
Right, exactly. Yes, it's very true. But really, it's all about their ego as well. So, it would be the same for your ego too, as a woman. If it was your responsibility to do all of these things, I think you would be a lot more cautious as well. It's really scary to put yourself out there and possibly be rejected. And again, I'm helping men, laugh in the face of rejection so that it's not as big of a bruise to their ego. But there's still a lot of men who will take it extremely personally.
Yeah, that's true. So, ladies, I hope you learned some secrets about men. So, Marnie, tell our audience how they can find you and what you have to offer them.
Yeah, well, they can go to winggirlmethod.com and sign up for my women's newsletters. They're free and they're jam-packed full of information. I also have a new product called How Men Work, which is based on the information I've learned from men over the past decade. And they can get that at winggirlmethod.com/menwork. Or they can go check out my podcast, the Ask Women podcast, which is entertaining, educational, and super goofy and funny and like a blast to listen to when you're on your ride to work or anytime driving in the car. So yeah, they can go check out all three of those things.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for joining us on the Single and Stiletto Show. If you like our show, it's available both in video format and podcast format. If you like to view the videos, you can go to singleandstilettos.com. And if you'd like to get the podcast, you can download it from iTunes. If you'd like to get our free ebook on the 3 secrets guaranteed to attract any man, and it's actually based on scientific research, you can click right here on the video, or you can go to singleandstilettos.com.